Okay, so here we go. Thank you very much, Anuja. What I'm going to do to begin with is I'm going to shut my video off so that we get plenty of bandwidth. And I would like to request all the participants also that at the moment, if we can keep our videos switched off, I think the bandwidth will suffice, and there will be no disruption when we are listening or talking to ideas
Okay,
about
okay.
employee
Sure,
engagement,
madam. Sure.
which includes me. So here we go. I'm switching off my video. And I hope you all can see the screen very well. Let me get into a PowerPoint presentation mode. So here is a bit of information about me. I am basically a coach who is coaching people into organizational change, intrapreneurship, that is entrepreneurship within the organization, leadership, strategic thinking, and decision making. So that's basically my forte. I do have a couple of signature programs that are up and running. uh, which of course it is one of them is ICF approved, so it's an international coaching course which Anuja was referring to. And I love working with first and second generation entrepreneurs while they come from various backgrounds like engineering and finance and IT and ERP. That's absolutely no bar over there. Anyway, so much about me. Let's go to what we are here to talk about. So employee engagement post COVID situation. That is the topic that we are going to talk about today. And I really look at this entire situation like each organization is, you know,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, please.
Can you please speak little loudly? You are not audible.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Lovely. So thank you for that heads up. Um, yeah. So we were saying that today we are going to talk about employee engagement post COVID situation. And according to me, it is the test of fire for all of us, from the perspective of businesses, from the perspective of HR. The more we think about it, we have started realizing that human resources is not a function of human resources department alone. That is something which more and more everybody is realizing. Um, we are all concerned about what will happen to our employees or their engagement levels post COVID situation. So what I bring to you is more like, a mixed bag of good news, bad news, good news, bad news, and generally what to look forward and what will help you. And you'll realize that actually sometimes the solution of the entire situation lies right in front of our eyes. Yeah. And it's very natural, it is very easy, it is ingrained in the organization's culture. If it is not there, it is simple to ingrain. So, uh, so much so for talking about the ease of employee engagement, let us try to figure out what's really happening. Like Anuja was saying, a little bit of what is employee engagement in first place. So she gave us a definition that it is the connectedness that an employee feels with organization. Um, yes, it is the connectedness that feels. So typically you'll see that um, we know whether employees are connected with the organization or not by their words. Okay, there are certain things which are observed, and therefore we can safely conclude that yes, employees are engaged. I hope you'll agree with me. How do we determine that employees whether they are engaged or not? How do we determine? There are employee engagement surveys, there are employee engagement indexes which you can find out, but is it the time today to do that? Maybe not. However, there is a very simple thing which you can do, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then I'm also going to take you to, generally speaking, the moment we say employee engagement, what are the typical activities that come into minds of people? And then we are also going to talk about where do we stand vis-a-vis those specific activities which we usually consider कि engagement करना है तो ये सारी चीजें करनी. Okay, so we'll talk about that.
Excuse me, Kalini madam,
Yes, please.
will you be little louder?
More loud
Yeah.
because
And
I'm at
may I
maximum of my
request,
volume.
may I request all the participants to close their videos and audio. Please mute it so that you will get full bandwidth. Yeah, Kalini madam, what?
Okay, so okay, let us just do a sound check. Can you hear me very well now? Because my volume is at the maximum and I'm also speaking pretty loud.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
You're
Yeah, you're audible.
Perfect.
okay, fair enough. Because otherwise I don't know what to do as an alternative, because my yeah, that is a great idea, Dipali, that if everybody uses their headsets, things will become better, because sometimes the individual computers, the volume is a little low, or probably you can check the volumes at your end on your laptops also. At times that also helps. Sometimes the volumes become so loud that inadvertently we make them lower and then we forget to switch back to louder volumes. So probably if you check at your ends also, it will be fantastic, or headphones do work. From my side, I'm at maximum of the volume of my laptop, what it can provide. And also I'm fairly loud with my headphones and with my mouthpiece very close to my lips. So anyway, coming back to what is employee engagement. Definition wise, you're absolutely right. Definition wise, it is the kind of connectedness what the employees feel towards the organization. But how will we know? If the employees are thinking of the organization, when I'm saying thinking, obviously I mean in the positive light, right? If they're thinking positive, feeling positive, saying positive, and doing positive, that is really the essence of engagement. And somehow, all these four ingredients have to be there. Without that, may I request people to just mute themselves, because I can hear some sounds from somewhere, and switch off the videos as well, please. Okay. So, employee engagement, according to me, there has to be a concurrence, a synchronization between thinking, feeling, saying, and doing. Yeah, that's essentially what a complete engagement is. You'll find that some people are only saying that they like the organization. They don't really mean it, then there is no sense. Or sometimes people are doing things because it is a part of their job description and because they have to earn their daily wages. That also is not total engagement. Sometimes people feel a lot towards the organization, but rest of the part is missing. That doesn't work either. And sometimes people are only thinking. So thinking, feeling, saying, and doing, when it goes together, it gets translated into what miracle employees can create for the organization. Normally, when we say engagement, employee engagement, at times, somehow people push the burden of the employee engagement on the employers or the seniors in the organization. Somehow they make all the seniors responsible for the way the entire gamut of population in the organization think, feel, say, and do. Yeah, the way they behave, or whether they are in sync with the organization or not. Sometimes organizations put this burden purely on HR department, which also is not true. Employee engagement has got two parts to it in real sense. There is, at one level, it is very transactional. On another level, it is very image based. Okay. So for example, if I'm working with a great organization, like let's take off Google. Okay. I'm a part of Google. I feel, wow, what an organization to work with. I'm working with Tatas. I feel, wow, what an organization to work with. And I feel connected with the organization simply because the goodwill or the aura around that organization is such. However, that is only a part of how people get connected or engaged with the organization. In real sense, if you see, employees get connected to the organization based on the transactions which they have with all the people in the organization from time to time, on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. How do my colleagues treat me? How do my peers treat me? How do my bosses treat me? How do my super bosses treat me?
am I getting all the resources where I can be functional or not? Am I getting the job which is equivalent to my capabilities, something which I can do? Is the organization set out for my success, or is the organization really only twisting my arm, or trying to extract maximum from what I can do? These are the transactions which employees feel on a daily basis. I'm giving you this context a little elaborately because I want you to connect this transactional bit with what the employees are going through today. What are they doing? What kind of moment of truth, or what kind of experience on a transactional level are they having with the organization? When I'm saying the organization, I'm being extremely mindful. It is not about the topmost people in the organization. It is not about the bosses or the owners of the organization. It is about how they are treating each other as well. Their immediate bosses, their colleagues, their peers. That is the transaction, that is the experience that they are having, which in turn is going to influence their thinking, feeling, saying, and doing. I'm not going to get into power and politics part right now because, okay, power and politics sounds a little eerie to your ears, but politics is basically to persuade a person to look at the way we want them to look at the things, right? That is what politics is definition wise. If you pick up any management book, the definition of politics is pretty straight and simple, and it has got no negative connotation to it. Anyway, so this is the kind of influence that they are casting on each other. I want you to visualize, or I want you to anticipate, what are people saying to each other? What are the people doing? How possibly people are feeling at this moment? And what could they be thinking? If you can imagine that, if you can visualize that, probably you will know what they are going through. When we are talking about employee engagement, actually, the whole thing is really very simple. There are certain things which they are going through, and those need to be addressed. Actually, you don't have to go out of the way to really, show off your care and concern. What they want, choti baatein, choti cheezein, that is what they are looking at, really. Big things in life are about the small things in life, really. So it is more related to that. Now, generally speaking, when we talk about employee engagement, just Google, okay, the ways you can engage employees. You'll not believe there are websites which say 59 ways of engaging employees, 79 ways, 72 ways of engaging employees, the formulas to engage employees, etc. Plenty of websites will pop up. Generally speaking, what comes to mind is there are celebrations. So whether it is birthdays, anniversaries, foundation day, long tenure awards, so some sort of celebrations are there. Training and empowerment is considered to be a part of engagement. Then the career growth, how people go through their careers in the organization, whether they are getting enabled or not, whether they are getting the right training to become successful or not. Then there are some under the heading of engagement activities. At times, organizations do conduct games and other activities. That also is a part of those engagement related activities. Drives, this collection drive, money collection drive, old clothes collection drive, or maybe some drives, blood donation drives, these kind of drives that include the employees, those also become a part of engagement. Sometimes people come together to help another employee. Sometimes people come together to help societies. Sometimes there are certain celebrations, or there is a hype created around certain things. So this hype could be like, performer of the week, performer of the month, some kind of excitement, or maybe meeting the targets or securing a big project. Some kind of excitement gets created. Then internal magazines is one of the, anything internal, maybe it's a leaflet, it's a magazine which is either in print form or soft copy. It is still one way of communicating. It's a one-sided information or communication, the magazine part of it, because the editor says whatever the editor wants to say, and you really don't know whether all people are contributing to the magazine and whether all people are actually reading the magazine. So that is a question mark, but however, this is one of the tools which can lead to engagement. Then there is reward and recognition. Then there are organizations who give perquisites, and then there are organizations who say that we don't work out of cabins. We've got an open door policy. We work through cubicles, and Anybody is allowed to come in, and so all these things, these amount to employee engagement. But the big but is, more than half of the things which are listed over here cost money. In the current effect scenario, we have to look at both the sides. We want to look at what employees need, and we also, Venkatesh, will you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you very much, Venkatesh. So we have to look from both the sides. We have to look from the side of employees as to what they want. And we also have to take a very realistic stock of what the organizations are going through at this moment. So let us take one bit at a time. Let's look at what are the concerns of the employees. When I enlist this, you will realize that, yeah, that's true. This is very basic. This is what are the real concerns of the employees right now. Are they really looking at my succession plan? Are they really looking at whether I'll get a big cabin or not? Are they really looking at whether my laptop will be bigger? Are they really looking at whether I'll be traveling first class or not? No, they are not. At this moment, their current concerns are very, very basic. Similarly, the concerns of the employers are also very, very basic. Here are some bullet points as to probably what the employers are at the moment. I'm sure that more than half of you or most of you are entrepreneurs of your sort, and what I'm saying over here will resonate. These are really hands-on, practical limitations that you are facing. There are certain limitations which are the hygiene factor or post-lockdown, which are being prescribed by government, and validly so, because obviously there is threat of life, right? So there are some hygiene factors. Then cash flows. Suddenly there are no revenues for 2 months, for over a month. Revenues have been zero, but expenses have been, they're there. You have to pay the salaries, you have to pay your premises money, you have to pay cost of capital, your goods are lying over there. And probably, I don't know, some of the employers must be facing difficulties where, there are damages or there are some penalty clauses because of delay in deliveries, etc. Okay. Zero revenue, but the expenses go on. That is the situation that you all are facing. There are pending orders and commitments. And now what has happened? While the revenue is also zero, the productivity is also zero because nobody was there. So now everything will get loaded post-lockdown. Everything will get loaded on whatever is to come in next few months. And then the salary bill itself, where we are saying that revenues are not there and pending orders are there and we need to double our speed, etc., etc. So on one side, this is something which has been bothering the employees. So everybody is aware of the mandates. There has to be only X number of people in the given square foot area. There has to be physical distance and sanitization norms, etc., etc. Probably all people will not be able to come to office, but you have to keep giving their salaries. Probably some people will work virtually, but not all people will work virtually, yet their salaries will be on. So that is one concern. Now, there is only a small percentage of staff which will be present, so automatically there is going to be some kind of collaboration or cooperation issue, which is going to kind of arrest the speed at which you can accomplish something. The revenues have come to a grinding halt. I know that for employers, there has been a strain on reserves. As a country, we are facing strain on reserves. It is not, and when we say strain on reserves, there also is strain on working capital. So first the strain is on the working capital. Once the working capital kind of comes to a grinding halt or slows down, then we start digging into our reserves. So it builds strain on the reserves as well. A lot of times, making that liquidity available, a company may be very rich, but being cash rich and being a rich company, there is difference. Concerns of survival in the immediate future. Some organizations are, I know, they are at the threshold where, things don't take turn for better. Their survival can come into trouble. Less people, backlog of orders, pressure of more productivity, bills. Yeah. Now, this is something. Now, we have to think about strategies of these. These are realities of life. These are realities of life. And remember, we talked about that whole list of what we can do for employee engagement. More than half of it cost money. perks, reward and recognition, monetary incentives, there's a big question mark on this. Even the compensation and benefit or the salary bills, salary itself, there are so many organizations who are taking a relook at their compensation and benefit, whether it is temporary or permanent, or they are deferring the salaries. This is something they are looking at now. When this is the scenario, spending extra on employee engagement is something which it is the second priority. It is not the priority at all. Yet you can create the magic and you can create the miracle purely through employee engagement. Believe you me when I say that, because if you are putting X ton of material, you'll get Y output. If you put X plus Y, you'll get Z output. It will be incremental. It is only human resource which can create synergy. Whether you give more money, you give less money, if it is people who put their heart and soul in it, they are the only component of all your elements which get into productivity, which can create miracles for you. Therefore, now let us look at what are employees really facing. What are their current concerns? It will give you some kind of a solace to know that whatever that entire list which costed money, those concerns are not the concerns which are being faced by employees. And I'm saying this because I'm a career transition coach. I've been speaking to literally many employees, people who have been just relieved from certain job, or people who are working somewhere, and what are their basic concerns. Keep talking to people. I keep talking to my students all over the world. Trust me, they are not looking at any expensive modes of employee engagement. What are their insecurities? Let us have a look at that. Like the employers are having crunch or pressure on their cash flows, even employees are feeling the pressure on their cash flows, their household cash flows. They know that they will need to do extra work to cover up the pending orders. And they know they'll have to put extra efforts because there will be less people in the office. So whatever, 30%, 50%, this percentage will keep on increasing as, there is a little bit of relaxation of the norms, etc. But whatever percentage, they know they'll have to complete. So more work in less time with less people. They know that they have to deal with this situation as they come back to work. Now, what are their insecurities? They are very, very basic. Is my job secure or not? If I lose this job, will I get another one? Will I have to compromise on my salary if I have to go for another job? How long can I just sit, even if it is work from home? How long can I just sit at home and work? Yeah, these are their concerns. When it comes to salary, they see the writing on the wall. How will I manage my expenses? I've got EMIs, my children are growing. How will I manage all my expenses? Will I be able to sustain and maintain the lifestyle of my family? That is my concern. How long is this phase going to last? And then, will I have to do extra work? They are aware that company wants more productivity with less people in less time. And trust me, because of whatever way it is, whether they are inspired to do that, or whether they've got a fighting spirit, or because they are feeling very insecure and somehow they want to secure their own position, they know that this is the reality, and I'm sure that they are up to it. Last but not the least, they are worried. They know that today, when they are at home, they are kind of hiding from the virus which is lurking. Tomorrow, when they go back to work, it is going to be right there in front of their face. And so they are worried, if I start going to the work, if I go outside of my house, am I going to get infected? That is their concern. And to be very honest, these concerns are really of a very basic level. Now, if we understand the concerns of employers and employees and put them together, even the strategies seem to be very obvious. Transparency, openness, trust. Everybody, there are so many webinars you must have attended, and everybody must have been saying this, that this is what needs to happen, etc., etc. I know that saying it is very easy. There are always question marks on how much transparency, how much openness, how can I trust the employee? I mean, trust is either a virtuous cycle or a vicious cycle. If it is not there, it is not there. Somewhere it has to be arrested and the spiral has to start moving forward. Then the basics of employee motivation, psychological contract, and we instead of us and them. That is something which, let's go a little elaborate into each of them. Now, here is a very beautiful organization culture model which is prescribed by T.V. Rao. You know that he's a phenomenal management guru, human resources guru. So this is something which he talks about. He talks about octopace, openness, confrontation, trust, authenticity, proaction, autonomy, collaboration, and experimentation. He says that if these elements are part of ethos of an organization, then the organization will have a very healthy culture which will easily cope up with any kind of dynamics that happen in the market. However, the way he defines these elements is slightly different than what we colloquially know, certain elements particularly. For example, let's talk about openness. Now, openness to communicate, what he talks about is, if I am in an organization and if I get a fantastic idea, I should not be worried if somebody will gun it down. I should not be worried that somebody will criticize it. I should not be worried that people will not listen to me at all. At the same time, so when I feel openness, okay, I've got an idea, I'm open, I feel open to go and share it with others. On the other hand, the moment I share the idea, even other people have openness, right? So they are going to come back to me with some of the feedback, and I'm open to receive the feedback. So the communication, which is purely based on the good for the organization, a to and fro, give and take of communication, that is what is really implied. It is not about my doors are open. The doors of your boss are open, but you don't have the cheek to say things to your boss at all because you are not sure whether it will be taken in the right spirit. Then that is not openness. You may be working out of cubicle, but you may not be talking to the other person who's sitting in the next chair. So that spatial openness is not the openness we are talking about. We are talking about an open communication, give and take of ideas. When we say confrontation, what comes to our mind is quarreling with each other. It's not that. Confrontation is an attitude to deal with things, not to bury them, not to brush them underneath the carpet. It's about dealing, facing the problems and challenges. Okay. The third is trust. Now you'll see that while the words are different, they are interconnected with each other. Unless there is trust, there can't be openness. Unless there is trust, there can't be confrontation. Unless there is openness, confrontation can't happen. But if openness, confrontation, and trust are there, automatically people will walk the talk. There will be authenticity. Proaction, we all know that, taking initiative, thinking in advance, and doing things. Autonomy is whether people have freedom. Again, it connects with whether I trust the person, whether the person walks the talk or not, whether the person is open enough to tell me all the things about why the autonomy, he should deserve the autonomy also, right? So that autonomy. Collaboration is, even if there is no hierarchical command and obey arrangement between people, are people feeling free to talk to each other? Experimentation, okay, there is a little bit of difference between proaction and experimentation. Proaction is looking at things in advance and acting upon them. Experimentation is total thinking out of box, being innovative. Okay, so that is what we are really talking about. Now, very nice 8 words which are there. How do we make this happen? As an employer, as a HR person, as a senior in the organization, we need to be the role model of octopus. And trust me, if this interjection, if we start becoming open, sometimes, seniors or HR people, they are very scared and afraid of making themselves vulnerable. Telling people that it's hurting me as much as it's hurting you, or it's hurting me more than it is hurting you, but I do care for you. Saying that out in open, saying that to people. Somehow, seniors, they don't do that. Talking to them. So I would say that the initiative has to be taken by every senior in the organization, every departmental head in the organization, every long tenured person in the organization, every owner of the organization, every person on the board of directors and the CXO level of the organization. You start that cycle. And trust me, it will spiral beautifully upwards. This is a very, very, all the HR people who are here, they will know that, oh, okay, this is Maslow. Everybody knows it. Yeah, everybody knows that physiological need, safety need, love and belonging is. I'm aware that this is a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and everybody is looking at this. And currently, I'm trying to again, take you back to the concerns that people are feeling right now. You realize that the concerns of people are all into physiological needs and safety needs, a little bit into love and belonging. People are not thinking of esteem and actualization at this moment at all. Yeah, only those people who've got very good amount of resources and who are very well provided are in the mode of esteem and self-actualization when it comes to working at job. On individual level, there is no doubt that everybody is rising above their self. They are actually in self. Even the poorest of the poor, even the most challenged person resource wise, is looking at how I can help other people. So in a way, they are in the self-actualization zone. But when they come to work as an employee, what they will be feeling is more of physiological need, safety need, and love and belongingness need. Now, having said that, what is an organization? An organization is a lot of people come together, right? If you go by the law book and definition, an organization is an intangible individual, which comprises of many individuals, right? So, does the Maslow's hierarchy apply to organization as well? So let's have a look at this. Look at the basic need of an organization. What is the sole purpose of organization? Top line, bottom line, goodwill. Okay. Safety, security need, business continuity. Then belongingness. Okay, at this moment, the organization says that yes, it's all there: memberships, associations, achievement, self-actualization. Yeah, we want that. But right now, there are crinkles in the lowest two levels of the organization, and let me deal with that first. On the other hand, look at the employees. Employees are also into the same zone, and this is the beauty of the current situation. That is what I was saying, that what you need to do is create the bridge between the basic and security needs of organization and basic and security needs of individuals. And here are your bridges. If you look at the middle part is a summarization of all and every activity that an organization does, generally speaking. Now, the basic needs of both an individual as well as an organization are satisfied by performance management, recruitment, enabling. When we are talking about enabling, we are talking about making the people capable of doing their current job right. We are not talking about succession planning here. We're talking about being able to do their current jobs right. Performance management, it is going to be a challenge, and you have to devise something around performance management where less number of people in less number of time deliver more. So a whole lot of performance management system. And to maintain that, in fact, this is an opportunity for the employers to do deeds, this random acts of kindness, which will enhance the internal brand of an employer immensely. It is an opportunity. Then comes your strategy, systems and processes, policies and procedures, which will actually bring some law and order in this chaos. Now, probably you may have to think of some strategies which are only for temporary phase till the organization is doing that uphill task. What, as an employer, organizations need to do is provide evidence to employees of they are doing all these things. And trust me, that is the least it will take to engage them. Talk to them, communicate to them, do the right things, and ensure that whatever you're doing as the right things are seen by the employees. Yeah, if there is some recruitment happening, show them that okay, your jobs are safe, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm going to protect your jobs. You're coping with the number of employees, etc. In fact, we are in it together. Yeah. Now, talking about psychological track, this is something which work upon and strengthen and tighten. Again, let me give you. VC is the visible contract, which is the appointment letter which you have between employees and employers. So it is something which is written standard. So I'm not going to dwell upon that. But employees are also talking to their colleagues or their counterparts in the market, like employers are talking to their counterparts in the market. So there is some relationship reference which is happening everywhere. Everybody knows everything. Yeah. Now, having seen that, having witnessed that, if you see that central part, wherever that those relationship references are coming together, conversing, that is the psychological contract we're talking about. This is a very typical iceberg model of psychological contract. It is only the work and pay. If you unfortunately do, then here is the time when you can enhance the transparency. Something which is beneath the iceberg, you can talk to people about it. The times, the hours, the efforts and ideas, what is expected out of them. Talk to them, communicate with them. Transparency is nothing more than this. Tell them what you are expecting from them. Tell them where it is hurting you. And ask them to contribute to the organization for the benefit of both. Be open, be vocal. That is simply what is required over here. We are social beings and we do understand each other's concern. We say na samadukhi. The organization and the employees are both hurting. And if they acknowledge that both of us are hurting, then it can become a very formidable force to work jointly and collectively. So essentially it is time to mingle. That's what we're talking about over here. Last bit of recommendations, what I can give to you is, when you are strategizing, have a plan for different time frames. While creating the plan, probably, let it be a cascading, a waterfall kind of thing. Maybe, do a top down as well as bottom up. Let people contribute to what they can do. Okay. Try to get personal with people without getting physically close. I'll tell you how in a minute. Yeah, we do have a little bit of time, so about 5 minutes, yeah. And yeah, demonstrating and building a sense of urgency, that is last most important. Now, divide your strategies purely into 3 time zones. Let there be a short term, which is purely corrective actions and tactical plan. Yeah. In the tactical plan, what will work the best is do it bottom up, rather than the senior management deciding as to what needs to be a corrective action plan. Do it management by objectives. Talk to your people who are probably at the lowest common denominator, or if they are working in teams, talk to them. Okay, this is the target, this is the challenge. How do you think you will be able to handle it? Because in the short term, what we are going to need is a lot of limbs, yeah, action. We are going to need a lot of action. So you have to be very clear about that. At this moment, we are not looking at a big vision, mission, strategy, and a very, very mega thing for a short term. Yeah. The moment you can breathe, the moment the nose is above the water, you need to shift to having that midterm vision, where let it be a combination of tactical and strategic thinking. Because I'm so sure that while driving the short-term goals, there could be some compromises which will probably cause a little bit of dent to the overall vision and goal. So that midterm plan is more like greasing out the ruffles kind of phase. Yeah, I mean, this short-term, midterm, long-term strategy, this itself can become a different, a different reason why we can get together and talk about it. And then, yeah, when people start actually working on the midterm plans, then the seniors come into play and start looking at the long-term goals and what tweaks you may have to make. Start looking at that, start looking at opportunities. At this moment, if you're thinking about long-term, it won't work. I know, I'm sure that so many employers are thinking in the same manner. Yeah. But my advice is start it bottom up, particularly when it comes to tactical plan. Do that. Now, inclusion in creating the plan, there is a beauty in this. Sometimes what happens is we give some work, so we assign tasks or a job description to a certain employee, and over the period we kind of forget as to what that employee has as additional talents. Yeah. So it is probably the time to reconnect with your talent pool. Maybe the organization is big, maybe the organization has got too many employees, and maybe it is not possible to reach out to every person. But then it becomes the responsibility of all the seniors in the organization, and the top management has to be talking to all the seniors. It is important to know what other talent, what other skill, because this is going to be a time of multitasking. and multitasking not just for the junior level employees, but for the mid levels as well as senior level employees. When we are talking about doubling the output necessarily need not only be in the quantity, right? If a person is capable of doing the production as well as planning as well as quality, let the person do the quality and the planning and the production right there, right now, so that it takes off burden from some other people. It is the time to capitalize on all the skills which possibly your talent pool had, which you had become myopic with. And that's why creating that connect with people. I've seen organizations, suddenly they find that there are different talents present. A couple of organizations kind of went into an entire diversification spree when they realized that, hey, you know what, my people know XYZ skills also. Yeah, there are so many examples. Know your talent pool. Lead them from the front, as in get your hands dirty. It is the time that you get out of your cabins and go there and mingle with the people and contribute. Do it with your own hand. Get your own hands dirty. You as leaders are the people, are the ones who people look up to. If they see you slogging out with them, they are going to be very, very inspired. They are going to sense that urgency. They are going to sense that camaraderie. So lead them from the front. They are wanting a leader. They are looking forward to someone coming and leading them and holding their hand and taking them along and making their pace a little brisker and removing the hurdles. Allow people. This is amazing thing which will happen. I'm telling you that there are some people who probably you thought as just another person in the team. Suddenly you will find that people will start emerging as leaders. Talk to them. Ask them who would like to lead this. Convert those short-term tactical plans into small projects and ask people who will head this project. You'll realize that there will be some people who will volunteer and they will do really good. Set an example. When people are successful, circulate the success stories. Yeah. Of course, when you get out of this small phase, when the short-term goals are achieved, there will be sufficient money with everyone and you'll have a big bash. So yeah, celebration is important in life. But let people do something. कर्तृत्व म्हणतात ना, पुरुषार्थ, उनको करने का मौका दो. उनको करना है, उनको चाहिए, उनको एक लीडर चाहिए, तो आप वो लीडर हो. That you have to remember. Now, getting personal without getting close, there is a simple ABCD to it. When we talked about think, feel, say, and do as engagement model, people want that the seniors in the organization, the owners of the organization, they are engaged. And therefore, it is important for you to demonstrate what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing, and what you're saying. And you have to ensure that it is all synchronized with each other. It doesn't contradict with each other. Yeah, that is what you need to look at. Now, getting up and personal has got very simple rules. Ask them as to what can be done rather than dictating them कि आप ये करो, आप ये करो. काम को धड़ डाउनलोड मत करो, उनको पूछो. Probably you will underestimate what they can do. Okay. Now, if you have to find out ideas, short-term ideas, brainstorm, take their ideas. Before concluding, take their ideas. Ensure that communication becomes your strength. If the organization is smaller, the employer can talk to people. If the organization is larger and it's a very structured kind of organization, you will have different departmental heads. Everybody should wear the cap of employee engagement and human resources. Every departmental head, every senior manager, every mid manager, they have to wear this cap. And the most important and the best thing you can do is communicate. And rather than saying simply that I care for you, show that you care. By the simple things that you'll do, the sanitization things or the distance things or the way you'll make probably, the food available or transport available and ensuring the safety of people, that is demonstrating that you care. Here, actions will speak louder than words. Yeah. Now, last but not the least, that sense of urgency needs to be felt. Let me assure you that sense of urgency is already there. In fact, the sense of urgency is so much that if they feel that the top management is lagging in a little bit of sense of urgency, people will start getting a little shaken. Yeah. What you need to do is all this communication that will happen, that will create very emotionally compelling experiences with people. Yeah. You need to role model. You need to be demonstrative of how you are doing extra work as a senior person in the organization. how you are going extra mile in your work, in your deliverables, how you are wanting to lead them for the front. Trust me, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja works. Okay, the way you role model, the way you demonstrate, it is going to rub off in a very positive manner on other people. Okay, look at the possibilities in crisis. There are so many people who must have talked to you about this. So I will not dwell more on this possibilities in crisis. I would bring your attention back to engagement. Trust me, when you get out of this whole situation, a year from now, the kind of bond that you'll experience with employees, that will be amazing. If you can isko nibha paye na agar aap ye situation ko, so trust me, you'll have long tenure awards. Another 5-6 years down the line, you'll have so many recipients of long tenure awards. Yeah. However, one word of caution: if there are someone who are not pulling up their socks, you need to address them then and there. You cannot make, one rotten mango can spoil the entire basket. So if there are naysayers, you need to attract them, and that too effectively. Sometimes you need to do it publicly, sometimes you have to do it in private, but you need to deal. Who is the person? What is the impact? All this analysis has to be there. But if there are people who are trying to pull everyone down, be aware of them, because like employers, even employees are in a very vulnerable situation right now. Yeah. Naysayers, take action immediately. Well, that is what I had to share with you. And yes, I've concluded in time so that we have sufficient time for questions and answers. I would love to address any questions. So can I go to the chat box?
Thank you, Galini ma'am. Now I will request participants to unmute themselves and ask the questions.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Sumit Roy, and I have one question, ma'am, for our MSME standpoint.
Okay.
Where the 80%, sometimes 80% of workmen would be contract labor,
yeah,
and who would be working for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and sometimes even overtime. So what would be the methodology that you would recommend for these employees to get engaged? Is it practically possible really in such cases, and what would be your message?
The contract labor? Okay, contract labor. Let me also ask you, is there any trade union situation at your place or no?
No. They're the regular the contract labors, which are mostly there in, if you look into Bhosari, Pimpri, Chinchwad, and other Maharashtra industrial zones.
Okay. And is there ठेकेदार है कोई? ठेकेदार है?
Yes. Normally there is a contractor through whom actually these employees are connected.
Okay. So I think it would be a great idea to bring all those contractors, ठेकेदार together. How many ठेकेदाrs are there?
No, I'm not talking about one company. I'm saying that in general, there are some 3, sometimes 4. The contractors could be there, sometimes just 2.
Okay. So here is the thing. What you can do is, instead of directly talking to the contract labor, you can sit together with the contractors. You can make a strategy. You can understand their concerns from the contractors first, and derive a collective strategy, because tomorrow we don't want that aap ek bol rahe ho aur contractors kuch alag bol rahe hain. If you are on the same page with the contractors, then the communication becomes unified. And with the unified communication, then you can go to the contract labor, and probably you can have town halls, because you can't do electronic meetings with them. But town halls are possible while maintaining all the physical distance and all that. And even to a certain extent, even the labor understands. They're pretty wise that way. They're very street smart. So if you're very honest and upfront with them about what is the current situation, I think it works really well with them. But be synchronized with the contractors. That is important. We don't want different messages going. That can create more confusion. That's why I'm just a word of caution.
In your experience, have you seen in Pune region such kind of companies, employees getting engaged at the contract labor level?
Yeah, in fact, there are a couple of clients of mine, particularly from construction. There are a couple of entrepreneur friends of mine. Again, from construction, I've witnessed a little more. They have a fantastic equation going with the labor. You know, the way they are dealing with them, the HR teams, they're doing some amazing work.
Are they working for 12 hours and 6 days a week?
Yeah. Construction goes on like 14, 16 hours. They have
So
to work in the night also.
you are saying that despite working for 12 hours a day for 6 days a week, they are pretty well engaged.
Yeah.
So is this the salary factor which really works, or what are the factors that work in such cases?
It is the bond. It is the feeling that my company cares for me. Like I said, you know, there is something which is called as transactional satisfaction or transaction level engagement. If the transaction level engagement is healthy, then it is easier for you to get in. You know, you have to engage their minds and hearts. And typically, when you are looking at the contract labor, engaging their minds is उनकी capability को बढ़ाओ आप, उनको और ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह से काम करने के लिए आप ये करो तो उनको लगेगा कि यार मेरा कुछ उत्कर्ष हुआ लाइफ में. And secondly, the way you deal with them. One thing which I must tell you that all this working for 12 hours and all these things are there, which are there in our minds, the white collar people. I've seen that most of the people who work on contract, particularly who are from blue collar variety, it's for them it's a given कि हमको इतना काम करना है. उनके दिमाग में ये ख्याल ज़्यादा नहीं होता है, unless you put it in their mind. Unless someone puts it in their mind. Yeah.
Just one point. According to International Labor Organization, in India, the average salary of these contract labor sometimes go as low as 10,000 rupees, and it is as many as 60% of the employees. I mean, 60% of the cases. So is it really possible in such cases where you are actually paying just hand-to-mouth living condition?
Okay, we are deviating a little bit from topic over here, and to be very honest, that labor law and that compliance part, it will digress the entire discussion.
No, is it possible to engage such employees? That was my question. Is it possible?
Purely by money, people don't get engaged.
I'm not asking about money. What I am asking that in this kind of situation, is it possible to have employee engagement? That was the question.
What will you do with the insecurities which are inherent?
आज
आप सैलरी दे, आज आप दे रहे हो सैलरी, कल को दोगे क्या गारंटी है? मेरे बाकी की insecurities का क्या? You have to deal with them also, no?
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question. Myself, Pratnya Joshi. I work with an IT company. Okay. Yeah. So I have a question. We have been acquired in the month of March, Feb, and unfortunately COVID hit in March. So what happened in my US company is that around 2,000 to 3,000 employees have been put on furlough, right? And we had a organizational restructuring wherein we had to eliminate a few processes over here. And with the COVID hit, and to add to it with the furlough that's happening in the US, you know, there's a lot of insecurity amongst our people over here. So I would, while I'm doing a lot on exactly, you know, what you were talking about, we are doing that, and with the appraisals that were deferred also. So putting all this situation, how would you, you know, advise to keep my people engaged?
These are certain realities of life which are going to be there. While I would wish that this does not happen, and in the best interest, because I know for sure that this is going to be the situation at least for some time now. And if you have to, unfortunately, attract people right now, probably for them to find another job is going to be a very uphill task. But see, your Pratnya Joshi, you said, no?
That's right.
Yeah. So patience song anta itni Pratnya.
Sorry?
Patience song anta itni, you know, resources or whatever.
Patience a problem nahi hai. Fortunately, ma'am, we are paying everyone's salaries. Everything is fine. But due to the restructuring, we had to eliminate a few processes where, you know, employees, that happened just before the COVID hit. So that happened in the end of Feb, you know, and in March, by the time it was 15th of March, the COVID thing happened. And therefore, you know, a lot of people in the US were put on furlough. So there's no work that's coming basically, but we are paying our people. But there's an insecurity amongst people, to be or not to be, what's going to happen. Like, they are always trying to get from me answers which I don't have right now, but I try to keep them, motivated and be positive. So everyone is, and with the increments that have been deferred again, while the positive thing is that we are recruiting. So I keep telling them, that, see, this is it. Because, then they start assuming things like, are we going to shut down? What is it?
Oh.
So.
Oh, that way. Oh,
yes.
The shutdown thing. Oh, okay. No, sit and talk with them.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You'll have to talk to them. And you'll have to let the insecurities on the table. And yes, while there has to be a lot of compassion, tell them what is the truth so that they are mentally prepared. If it indeed means that some people are going to lose their job because of the restructuring, they need to know, they need to be pre-warned. But if you can save their jobs, if there is something which you can do, ask them what can they contribute to the organization so that their job remains, and you can at least give an assurance that okay, we'll take your ideas to our principals and see whether this is working or not.
Correct. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Madam, I'm Jitendra Lakhotia from Akar Foundry, and I am also part of Vishwakarma Group, where Vishwakarma Publication had printed your book, The Turning Point.
Yeah.
And we have around, we are based in Talegaon. We have around 400 headcounts.
Okay.
And 50% are permanent on-roll employee, and 50% are contract.
Okay.
Now we have something unique problem that contract laborers had gone back UP, Bihar, Orissa, Bengal, and I don't think they will come back for next 3-4 months. And the other problem is that the Kolhapur-based belt, the West Maharashtra belt, as well as some North Maharashtra team members, those who are permanent young members, unmarried or just married, like that, in the age group of around 24 to 30, they are not coming back, even though we are calling them.
Okay.
How should we build a team again through employee engagement? What we should do in such particular condition? कारण लोक येत नाही मॅडम. सगळ्यात मोठा प्रॉब्लेम आहे की नाहीच म्हणतात.
सो लोक जर येणार नसतील तर मग आपल्याला त्याचा पर्याय शोधणं याच्या पलीकडे काही हे नाही, कारण त्यांना जर यायचं नसेल तर ते नाही येणार आहे. तर आपण हे ऍक्सेप्ट करायला पाहिजे आणि त्याप्रमाणे आपल्याला पर्यायी आपल्याला हे करायला पाहिजे, व्यवस्था करायला पाहिजे. कारण तुम्ही मारून मुटकून तर कोणाला बोलवून घेऊ शकत नाही किंवा कोणाकडनं काम करून घेऊ शकत नाही. तर आपले पर्याय जे आहेत, आणि इनफॅक्ट ना आय वुड से दॅट दिस इज अ लेसन फॉर अस. आणि लॉंग टर्म मध्ये दुर्दैवाने समजा पुन्हा काही परिस्थिती झाली तर त्यातल्या त्यात कंट्रोलमध्ये कसं राहावं सगळं, की ज्याच्यामुळे इम्पॅक्ट होणार नाही, असा आपण विचार करावा. आणि आय डोंट नो, माझा अंदाज आहे की बऱ्याच कंपन्या आता याच्यामुळे कुठेतरी मेकनायझेशनकडे वळायला लागतील का काय हळूहळू आणखीन जास्त इंटेन्सिव्हली, असा एक दिसतो मला ट्रेंड.
अट्रॅक्ट करण्याकरता अजून काय म्हणजे शॅलवी काय दुसरे काय रिवॉर्ड्स वगैरे काय तुम्ही सजेस्ट करू शकता का? काय
हे कुठल्या लेवलचे आहेत लोक, काय वयाचे आहेत?
कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट एम्प्लॉई आणि यंग, मेनली यंग टीम,
ज्युनियर लेवलचे आहेत.
हो, आणि ते यंग आहे, द फ्युचर जनरेशन ऑफ द कंपनी.
कारण अगदी फ्रँकली स्पीकिंग, इन द इनिशियल फेजेस ऑफ द करिअर त्यांची फिजिओलॉजिकल नीड आणि त्यांची सिक्युरिटी आणि सेफ्टीची नीड आहे. तर त्यांना म्हणजे बेसिक जे आहे सॅलरी आणखीन तुम्हाला एनेबल केलं जाईल, आणखीन तुमचा जॉब सिक्युअर राहील, हेच काही गोष्टी त्यांना ल्युअर करतील. ते सेन्स ऑफ बिलॉंगिंगनेसला वगैरे तेवढी त्यांची आत्ताच्या घडीमध्ये 2 गोष्टींचा आपल्याला विचार करायला पाहिजे की आता ते म्हणतात की आम्ही परत येत नाही, तर मग त्यांच्याकडे पर्याय काय? त्यांना तिथे लोकली आहे का जॉब अवेलेबल? दुसऱ्या काही पर्यायी ते काय करणार आहेत? हॅव अ कॉन्व्हर्सेशन विथ देम. have a conversation with them, asking them ki, okay, fine, you don't want to come, okay, we'll not pressure you or force you, but then what will you do? Do you have an option over there? हे काही हार्ड क्वेश्चन्स आहेत. आता म्हणजे भावनेच्या भरामध्ये आम्ही येतच नाही परत हे म्हणणं गोष्ट वेगळी आहे. मुळातच जर त्यांच्याकडे त्यांना तेवढ्या जर संध्या उपलब्ध असत्या त्यांच्या लोकल ठिकाणी तर ते मुळात इथे आलेच नसते ना. तर मग कुठेतरी ते तुम्हाला त्यांनी जर होऊ शकतं ना, भीती वाटते ना लोकांना की वाढतं एवढं भराभरा पुण्यामध्ये कोविडचा प्रादुर्भाव, त्यामुळे मे बी त्यांना वाटेल की चला हे जोपर्यंत शांत होत नाही तोपर्यंत मी परत येत नाही.
इनफॅक्ट मी तिथं हॉस्टेल्स पण क्रिएट केले तर ते सेफ राहू शकतील. त्यांना फूड अरेंजमेंट दोन्ही टाइम कंपनीमध्ये कॅन्टीन आहे. जस्ट नाव आता आम्ही इव्हिनिंगला पॅकेट्स ड्राय स्नॅक्स पॅकेट्स वगैरे घरी जाताना वी आर डुईंग सच थिंग्स बट स्टील.
मला तुमचं अभिनंदन करावं असं वाटतं की तुम्ही खरंच खूप छान प्रयत्न आणि सगळं हे केलेलं आहे. म्हणजे सोपं नाही आहे हो हॉस्टेल उभं करणं किंवा फूड पॅकेट्स आणि हे सगळं त्यांची एवढी काळजी घेणं. इट्स नॉट अ इझी टास्क. तुम्ही ते करून सुद्धा जर त्यांना परत यायचं नाही आहे तर मला वाटतं कुठेतरी आपल्याला हे रिअलाइज करायला पाहिजे की हे लोक येत नाही आहेत आणि आपण आपल्या कामाला लागलं पाहिजे की आता मग ठीक आहे, मग मला पर्याय काय, मग ते वेगळे पर्याय, मग कुठे रेफरन्समधनं आपल्याला असेच आणखी काही लोक मिळतील का, किंवा जवळच्या लोकॅलिटीजमध्ये काय आणखी मी ऑप्शनली करू शकतो याच्याबद्दल स्ट्रॅटेजिकली विचार करणं. मला तुमची इंडस्ट्री किंवा तुमची कंपनी मला नीटशी माहीत नाही आहे त्यामुळे मी खूप कॉन्क्रीट उत्तर नाही देऊ शकत. पण
फाउंड्री automotive and non-automotive आहे आमचा कस्टमर बेस विथ फेअर लेवल ऑफ ऑटोमेशन्स.
नाही, तुम्ही जे करताय ते उत्तम करताय आणि तुम्ही ते तुमच्या परीने मला वाटतं ऑप्टिमल लेवलला करताय. आणि तरी लोकांना जर यायचं नसेल परत तर आपण पर्याय शोधलेला कधीही बरा.
कारण आता आम्ही VIT पण काउन्सिलिंग टीमला आणि ते प्लेसमेंटला सांगितलं VIT की जे यंग जनरेशन आता 3-4 महिने घरी बसूनच राहणार आहे.
बरोबर.
आणि नाही त्यांचे कॉलेजेस चालू आहे तर जे पास पण झालेले आहे आणि काही जॉब पण आहे त्यांना पण द्या आम्हाला. क्लिक नाही होते मॅडम. म्हणजे
समजू शकते मी, समजू शकते, अगदी समजू शकते.
गेट इन टच विथ यू थ्रू जीमेल बिकॉज आमच्या ग्रुपला ओळखतात, सोनींना ओळखतात, त्यामुळे आय विल गेट इन टच विथ यू फॉर.
तुम्ही माझा ईमेल आयडी लिहून घ्या. मला जितकं जास्ती स्पेसिफिकली कळेल ना तितकं मी तुम्हाला जास्ती स्पेसिफिकली ऍडवाइस करू शकेन.
Yeah, Mr. Lakhotia, can we take it offline, please?
Yes, thanks.
I think now questions are over.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Okay. Yeah, please ask.
I have. Yeah,
please.
This is Mandar Purandare from Technofor Electronics.
Yeah.
We are into situation where this month we even could not pay the full salaries. We have given some advances.
Okay.
Because since March last week, not a single production, not a single sale. I have say around 250 workforce with me, and having very nice relationship with contract laborers and unionized laborers. Otherwise, due some last 1 year, we are stretched relationship due to union agreements and everything. Where the cash crunch is itself is a issue. How do you suggest we can go ahead? हे जमवायचं कसं? As a HR मोठा प्रश्न आहे.
लोकांशी बोलून आणि कधी कधी लोकांच्या समोर स्वतःला वल्नरेबल तुम्ही तुमची जी परिस्थिती आहे ती जर खूप फ्रँकली सांगितली आणि तुम्ही जर त्यांना हे कन्व्हिन्स करू शकलात की ही टेम्पररी फेज आहे, आपल्याकडे या अपॉर्च्युनिटीज दिसत आहेत आणि आपण आत्ता थोडंसं जर स्ट्रेच केलं ना तर वी आर गोइंग टू बी बॅक ऑन आवर फीट आणि मला तुमचं पार्टिसिपेशन हवं आहे याच्यामध्ये. हे जर तुम्ही करू शकलात ना लोक कळं काढतात. फक्त त्यांना कसं ना त्यांना माहिती असायला लागतं की मला माहिती आहे की बाबा इतका वेळ लागणार आहे, अजून 1 महिना गुळावर यायला लागणार आहे, नाही मिळणार आहे. त्यांना लोकांना प्रॉब्लेम कधी होता माहिती, तुम्ही त्यांना पगार अचानकच नाही दिला आणि मग त्यांना समोर खर्च येईल वगैरे आणि त्यांना प्लॅन नाही करायला, म्हणजे कॉट अनअवेअर जे म्हणतो ना त्याच्यामध्ये लोकांना प्रॉब्लेम होतो. नाही म्हटलं तरी आज लोकांना माहिती आहे की आज माझा जर हा जॉब गेला तर मला बाहेर जॉब मिळणं अवघड आहे, म्हणजे कुठेतरी त्यांची मजबुरी आहे, ही फॅक्ट आहे. पण मग त्यांना जर आपणही आपल्या बाजूने सांगितलं की हे टेम्पररी आहे बाबा, हे होणार आहे नीट, आत्ता तू कळ काढ माझ्या बरोबर आणि आपण जेव्हा बाहेर पडून यायच्यात ना तेव्हा रेस्ट अश्योर्ड की दिस विल बी, ये मैं याद रखूंगा.
Okay. So communication is the key according to you. Yeah.
अगदी. आणि प्रत्येक वेळेला खूप मोठा इगो किंवा
मी मोठा आहे तर मी असं कसं स्टँड घेऊ असं गरज नसते हो. माणसं साधी असतात आणि सिच्युएशन सोप्या असतात. फक्त तुम्ही त्यांना अगदी तुम्ही बघा ना, तुमचे जर कधी सप्लायरचे वगैरे पैसे थकले असतील आणि तुम्ही सप्लायरला जर सांगितलं की बाबा मी तुला 2 महिने नाही देऊ शकतो, तर तो म्हणतो ना की बिझनेस आहे, हरकत नाही, आता तुम्ही मला समजून सांगताय ते चांगली गोष्ट आहे. असं जर सप्लायर म्हणतो तर इन अ वे हे पण आपल्याला सप्लायर करतात ना. दे आर काइंड ऑफ सप्लायर्स ओनली टू अस ना. आणि इट वर्क्स विथ देम आणि सगळ्यांना दिसतंय, कळतंय सगळ्यांना काय चाललंय ते. त्यामुळे आय डोंट थिंक इट वुड बी.
Thanks, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm Revati Sathe. I have one question.
Yes, Revati.
In the current situation, many of the employees are working from home, but with salary cuts to some extent, how can you motivate or keep people engaged? I mean, the performers from the non-performers. It becomes a bit difficult to differentiate करायला की with salary cuts people go into the mode की नाहीतरी पूर्ण मिळणार नाहीये salary, मी नाही परफॉर्म केलं. बरेचसे लोक आहेत जे नाही परफॉर्म करत आहेत, तर मी जर का त्यांच्याच ह्याच्या ट्रेंड फॉलो केला तर काही फारसा मला फरक पडत नाही. सो हाऊ कॅन वी मोटिवेट और कीप सच एम्प्लॉईज एंगेज?
सगळ्या ठिकाणी काइंडनेस चालत नाही. ओके, म्हणजे आपण एम्प्लॉई एंगेजमेंट बद्दल बोलतो तरी समथिंग विच इज कॉल्ड एज टफ लव्ह ऑल्सो. त्यांना खूप स्पेसिफिक आणि नेमकी टास्क आणि टार्गेट जर तुम्ही दिलीत तर ते रिमोटली मग तू 2 तासात ती पूर्ण कर, तू 8 तासात पूर्ण कर, पण दीज आर युअर टार्गेट्स आणि आय वॉन्ट द टार्गेट सॅटिस्फाईड. हे कुठेतरी जर तुम्ही परफॉर्मन्स मॅनेजमेंट जो मी म्हटला एक तो पाया आहे, बेसिक नीड्स दोन्हीच्या सॅटिस्फाय होण्यासाठी, ऑर्गनायझेशनच्या पण आणि एम्प्लॉईजच्या पण. तर परफॉर्मन्स मॅनेजमेंट म्हणजे लोकांकडून काम काढून घेणं, याच्याबद्दलच बोलतो आपण. तर याच्यामध्ये मेजरेबल टार्गेट्स त्यांना द्यायची आणि त्यांना सांगायचं तू 2 तास काम कर नंतर उंडारून ये, मला काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
Excuse me, Kalini madam.
Yeah.
People would like to have the answer in English.
Oh, okay. So what Revati ma'am is saying is people are working from home and it's becoming very difficult to get exact from people. So what I'm suggesting to Revati ma'am is it's not always benevolence that works. Sometimes you have to show your tough love also. So what you can do is people, particularly who are working from home, you can give them some very specific and measurable targets. And then you can tell them you complete them in 2 hours or you take 20 hours to do it. That's your prerogative, but this is something which I'm expecting out of you. Now, it will be easy when the kind of work they are doing can be converted into measurable targets. The question will come when those tasks cannot be converted into measurable targets. Then what? Then we will have to look at each task and try to see what are the elements we are looking at. If it is not quantity output, can we look at something which is qualitative in nature, but something which is pinpointedly seen as a evidence of work? I think that's the only thing. And then the monitoring has to be real close. You can't wait for like an annual appraisal or something like that. You have to keep reviewing maybe a weekly or fortnightly basis, depending on the intensity and the complexity and the volume of work.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I see one HP, someone raising.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Yeah, I can hear
labor contractor from Chakan, Pune area.
Okay.
Actually, I have more than 300 Bhaiya UP BR people for work. But right now, situation there is only 20 to 25 because others are going.
Yeah. Okay.
As it is.
Yeah.
I am just motivating Marathi people to come and join to work, but they are not coming. How I just help me to how to motivate or call them to work.
So the people you are trying to motivate are already people of your organization. They are employees of your organization. Is it?
No, I am a labor contractor.
Oh, you're a labor contractor.
Yeah.
That's a different ballgame altogether. You want Marathi people to work, and which industry do you cater to?
More than 10 manufacturing industries. More than 10.
Manufacturing industries.
Yeah.
And what skill set?
It's unskilled, semi-skilled, labor, welder, fitter, or helpers.
Okay, probably in this particular area, my experiences, I don't know whether it is right or wrong in your case, can have 2 or 3 people who are the influencers in their communities. if you can show them value in while there is a vacancy, why don't you fill in the vacancy? It will be easy, and so a long-term thing. So they will get more people rather than you going out. Identify such people who have that internal connect within the communities and who can get more people from their communities, because in your kind of skilled unskilled labor area, I find that their networking actually is more important.
Okay.
Rather than you yourself going out and talking to 100 people, identify those 5, 10, 6 people and ask them, okay, how many people can you bring? From which community, from where, and what are their concerns? Talk to them, see how many you can, and probably if you incentivize people, these guys, like in larger organizations, when you have this recruitment drives, there is some incentive for referrals, right? So maybe you can have these ambassadors, you can create a referral scheme, something for them, and ask them to go to their communities and bring people for you. That is something which will work better, I guess.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else who would like to ask the question? Okay, thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalini ma'am.
Thank you, my dear. It was lovely.
From your busy schedule. Yeah, it was really lovely session. Thank you to all participants for joining us in this employee engagement program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.